So Princess joined the Down to Business podcast today, and one of the main things we talked about was how she was able to coincide doing locks with making natural products and things like that. So, oftentimes when it comes to just the natural and the holistic approach, we may not know where to start. We may not know what to do. We may hit Google. We may try to diagnose things ourselves and everything like that. But a lot of what she hit on was really just education, just really knowing, just really learning, just not being afraid to ask those questions and figure out what works for you. Because something that you look up that could say is good for the body, good for the hair, good for the skin, may not be good for you specifically. So a lot of that, is really just trying to learn what works, what doesn't work, adopting new habits, adopting new tendencies, and she wants to be able to help you out. But also, if you're someone who is on their lock journey, started at any point, or just, even moving forward, and that's something that you're adopting, she wants to also be able to help you, keep you looking sharp, keep you looking fresh, and what her lock journey has really told her about herself, what she's really learned along the way, and even why it really fit her particular lifestyle. So without further ado, enjoy episode 106, Perfecting Patience. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. Man, we love connections. We love mutual friends. We love the idea that, you may not know somebody directly. You may not have introduced yourself, have had a conversation or anything like that. But the fact that, y'all may know the same people. Y'all may be around the same crowds. Y'all may be even at the same university. That's kind of what me and Princess shared today, too. And if the name doesn't, catch your attention, if the name doesn't, make you want to tap in a little bit more, and I'm sure, what she does and what she came on here to talk about, I'm pretty sure she'll catch your attention before the interview is over. So met Princess, actually, we went to ECU and things like that, but I wouldn't say I directly knew her at ECU. We had a follow, we followed each other on social media and different things like that, but we had a lot of the same mutual friends, a lot of the friends who, were very influential in my life, who did a lot of great things at ECU, who are still doing great things today. So naturally, we came in contact. Social media just allows you to be able to talk to people, check in with people, comment on things. She posts a lot of funny stuff, so sometimes I'll be laughing at what she got going on. So I appreciate that. I'm a really, I think I got a good sense of humor. I would say that. So, but no, more recently, I was able to run into her in Charlotte. We had an event out there for my fraternity. And, I was able to kind of really officially meet her and things like that. And then even after that, we followed up and we talked, and she said, I'm ready to get down to business. Like, I'm ready to get on the podcast. I'm really ready to make this happen. So I was excited. Y'all hear me talk all the time about, I love when people put that pressure on me. I love, I'm always watching. I follow her business page. I knew what she did and everything like that. I got a lot of notes. I got her in the notes. I was going to make it happen, but I love when people get the ball rolling a little bit quicker for me. So that was something that she did. She reached out to me ultimately and said that, let's get it in. So I said, okay, I'm going to lock in with you. So I do my scheduling on Sundays, reached out, and we locked in. So here we are today. So very excited to be sitting down with obviously another fellow alumni of mine. Got to get the singular and the plurals right. But also very excited for y'all to, obviously hear what she has to say, hear what she's doing in the local Charlotte community and things like that. But also, how you could be of support and of benefit to her and even what she has coming. So Princess, how you doing today? How is everything?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. I gotta hype up the interviewee. I gotta make them feel, like it's ready. This ain't about me. This about y'all. So ultimately, I want a lot of people to tap in with you. I want people to utilize your services. I want people to see that you do good work. So for those out there, some are gonna know
Thank
you,
you.
some aren't gonna know you, some are gonna know me, some aren't gonna know me. So let's bridge the gap entirely. So one, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then two, what brings you on the Down to Business podcast today?
Okay, so I'm Princess, as he said. I do locks and I have a natural business where I sell all organic products, hair care, skin care, lip care, just a wide range of things that are organically made and handmade by me. A little bit about myself. I went to East Carolina. I started my business in 2020 during the pandemic. So, a pandemic business, of course, it brought a lot of good things to us. Um, I'm interested in growing and networking and meeting new people. So, that's kind of how I got here. We have a lot of mutual friends. Like you said, they brought me to you, and they were always like hinting towards, getting on the podcast. I'm like, let me get in the space where I can actually have something I want to talk about and something I want to drop, something I want to get people to know about. So here we are.
Bet. Okay. I love that. I love that the fact that I'm big on, just speaking people, connecting people, even when they're not around you, even when, you still see them doing good things. If I can plug, I send so many pages to so many people and they would never really know. But then when I see connections or when I see them getting tagged or when I see mutual followings, it's so it's so interesting to me. It's so amazing to me just how the world works, the power of social media, but also the power of word of mouth and true, genuine people in your life. So, all right, you said a
Definitely.
few interesting things in the introduction, man. So, first, a pandemic business. Whoa, that's a risk. That's a lot going on. 2020
Yes.
pandemic was basically still fresh. It was still like it hit us in 2019, but 2020 was really like 2020 is a blurry year for me. I honestly don't remember a lot of 2020.
It was
Yeah, like it was
crazy.
it was really just a lot going on. So for you, what was going on in your life nearly 2 years ago that you said, "Hey, I want to start a business"? With everything that was going on, with us not knowing, we wake up the next day, we read something new. We wake up, we go to sleep with a lot of uncertainty and things like that. With everything just being so clamorous and just a lot going on, why did you say, "Hey, I want to start a business. I want to make this happen"?
What made me want to start my business during the pandemic was really the fact that I had so much time on my hands. Like normally, you're in class and then I was working full time, so I didn't really have time to juggle everything. I always did hair when I was in college. That was my side money, but I didn't make it a business until the pandemic because it was like, wow, it's booming. Everybody needs their hair done. I'm starting to think about products I can use. I started to think about chemicals that's in products that we use on a daily. Just because of the pandemic, it's like, okay, we're buying all this hand sanitizer, we're buying all this stuff, but we could really use it organically. It's just we have to find it. And then I don't know a lot of people that make organic products. We always have those big corporate places that build them and send them out, but we don't have anybody that's like personal to us that actually makes organic products and sell them. So I was like, let me hop into that. And then it's something that I'm interested in, like making my own hair care, um, body butters. I've always done that. I just never sold them to people. So with finding people that actually are interested in using my stuff, it's like, wow, I might as well make some money and then help people out at the same time.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that just because more times than not, that is really how a lot of businesses start, or they come to fruition, or they come to really be successful. Originally, you start doing things for you. You know what you like. You start experimenting with things. You do some research. You may really just be into that. You may have studied that, went to school for that, or you may just develop a genuine interest. I will definitely say that over the years, I've certainly noticed a push just towards natural, towards organic, towards us
Yes.
really, being cognizant of what we're using on a daily basis, us flipping bottles over and things like that, and not being able to read instructions or not knowing what they meant or not being able to pronounce certain things. And something that I actually learned,
Hmm.
shout out to who put me on this stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Somebody, but basically, one of my interviewees told me that pretty much when it comes to products, when it comes to what we read in ingredients, they're in order of how much is in there. I said, wow, I never
Yeah.
knew. Like when you look at a product, when you look at a food, when you look at packaging, it's an order of how. So the first ingredient that you see, that's what's mostly in that bottle, and then the last ingredient, that's
Hmm.
what leastly in. Well, if I'm flipping bottle, it got to the point where as soon as we got off that interview, I went home. I started flipping everything over. I'm like, nah, and I
Right.
couldn't read a lot of the stuff, and I'm like, wow, I'm putting this on my face, I'm putting this on my hair, I'm putting this on my body.
15-letter
And I don't even
words.
know what this stuff is. I don't know what it's used for. This could be in medications. Like this could be all different types of things.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like you said, I really appreciated the push towards natural, towards organic, because one, it was an education session for me. I would definitely say that. Like it was something where I didn't know that. Obviously, we hear about the certain foods, the certain products that you're supposed to use and things like that. But I didn't know when it came to like mixing things, combining everything like that, like what could really work. And then it wasn't until I started ordering from the Celeste Essentials, the Mama Maggie's, and the I can name a host of different people who did stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, they really are onto something. This really, works. This is really it. So okay, I love that a lot. So what came first? Did you start doing the locks first, or was it the products first? Because I know you said you were experimenting
The
with okay, so
locks.
the locks came first. Okay. So
Yes.
I see you obviously you got it all going on. So what's
Yeah.
how long, like, walk us through the lock journey a little bit. Like when did you start? How long you been at it? What's going on?
Okay. I started my lock journey in December. I had been thinking about it for years, but I just never really pushed myself to start it for real because I like to change my hair so much. Like if you're on my Instagram, you see I cut my hair probably once a year. I do a lot. I change colors like twice a year, but last year I was like, okay, I hadn't cut my hair in maybe a year, so I was like, let me finally start this lock journey. And then for me, it's like a walk through patience. Like I've always been patient with my work, but I've never been patient with life. So with my lock journey, it's helping me be more patient, see how things really have to work themselves out. That's just what I look at my locks for. And then I feel like everybody else has a different reason for their lock journey, of course. People go through things and they're like, okay, when I finish going through this, of course, I'll cut my locks off and I'll save them and it'll be like a memory piece. But I definitely feel like I started mine just to help my patients, help me understand that things are getting better. And then, of course, once they start to work themselves out, you realize I really love how they come, like how they're coming to look. Like I'm in love with this right now. I don't know. It's making me feel like a bougie
Yeah, it's a process, definitely a
hippie.
trusting process because as somebody who
Yes.
tried to grow their hair out at one point, I think it was my sophomore year. I don't have that patience. I'm not like obviously I keep a very low cut, and I would even say now I need a haircut for sure. Like my waves are there, but I need a haircut. Like I definitely was like it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I see the vision, I see the end goal, I know like what I could do with this potential. I don't know necessarily how I'll look or what it'll be or things like that. Maybe
Right.
on my end, it was just bad time. I was doing it at ECU. It was hot. I said, no, I can't keep doing this. Like I gotta, I should have started maybe at the
Yeah.
end of the summer leading into the fall and the winter and things like that. But it just got to a thing of like I'm looking at my hair, I'm like, I hate this. Like this is just it looks nappy. I'm using a sponge. I'm in class. People are asking, "You growing your hair out? Like that's what you're doing? Like like da da da." Da." And I'm just like, yeah, I'm trying. Like but
Right. I'm doing something.
right. Well, one day I just woke up, I said I can't use this sponge again. I went to my I went to my barber. I said, "Yo, chop it off, please. Like, take me back." But I will definitely say that I have talked to people in your position, in your predicament, who just did a lot with their hair, who changed a lot, man,
Right.
anything like that. But at the end of the day, they've all kind of had that common theme of, it takes you through everything. It's certain times where you
Mhm.
love it, you love what's going on, you love the look, you're really making it happen. And there's other times it's just like you feel like you can't get right. You just having bad day
Yes.
after bad hair day after bad hair day. So I definitely do understand the range of emotions. But all in all, when it starts to come together like this, when you really months in, years in, different things like that, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. So what was it
Most
really like?
definitely.
Like you said, you really started doing the products on your own. This was something that you liked. This was just your interest. You were just into that. How did that how did that get to the people? Was it you just had certain friends who might have been asking about like what you're using or yo princess your skin looks really good or da 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 or it smells really good or what's going on? Was it kind of like a word of mouth thing? Did you post something one day? What was that really like to really get it out there to get it now into an actual business, an actual LLC?
All right, so it really started with me using like the word of mouth transmission. Like every time I did hair, I'm telling people, I'm trying to get into lip care. It started off with lip gloss and chapstick, honestly, and then lip scrubs. I know a lot of people that are dehydrated because of sports or they are smokers, and then you can tell it by their lips. Lips are starting to get dry, they're cracking, they're darker. So I'm like, okay, I need something for my own lips. So let me try to make something for us. Then I started passing it off to people I did their hair, all the new clients. Okay, I have these products. I made business cards and then I worked it into my Instagram. I already had my Instagram for hair, but I just transformed it over into a business page, like half and half. And that's where I got some more exposure because people already follow me for their hair.
Okay, okay, good process for sure. Word of mouth, man. I'm big on word of mouth. I love talking. I feel like that's social media is a very powerful, a very useful tool. But yo, like, have a conversation, sit down, just talk to
Exactly.
people really about what's going on. I would much rather put a face to a name than a name to a page or a name to a
Mhm.
link or a website. It's nothing like scrolling a website and it's just like you don't feel that personal connection. Like you don't really,
Exactly.
every website, you can have a dope website, fire website, interactive, all of that. But if I can't really see you, if I can't, interact or just know or be able to pop up shop or something like that, it just takes
Right.
out an element of that. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what consumers look for, buyers look for, is that emotion thing. A lot of times we just act off of emotion. If something looks good, if it's a sale, it could have been something that we said, yo, I'm never buying it. I don't need it, like whatever, whatever. It dropped $80 though. You like, well, actually,
Mm.
I might be able to hold on. Like $80, that's a steal. Like I might grab it.
Right.
So a lot of it is just we act off of just emotion or what looks good or what feels good at the time. So I'm with you on that for sure. So with being in the pandemic, with kind of getting started around that time and everything like that, did you face any immediate challenges? Like was it a thing of you're coming into business. You said you had a lot of time on your hands. So obviously I'm thinking, you obviously had to do some research. You had to do some vetting. You had to do things like that. But coming into business, becoming a business owner for the first time, were you met with any like immediate obstacles, or was it some things that you kind of had to work around? Was it a learning experience for you? Or was it kind of just, step by step until you just get that foundation going?
It was definitely a learning experience. When I first started, the biggest obstacle was consistency with customers. I didn't really make the products to order. I was making them in bulk, and then I wouldn't have enough orders, and then I'm losing inventory. With them being natural products, you have to get them out at a certain amount of time, especially certain things that I was selling at the beginning were like face products. They had yogurt and oats and stuff in it. Stuff like that has to be shipped at a certain, like, as soon as it's made, because it's gonna go bad. But other than that, the biggest obstacle was really just getting more customers. More customers. That's all I needed was more customers. I had people that would order on a regular, but when you order on a regular and you're ordering like a 4 ounce container of something that you use once a day, but only a little bit, you won't need any more until maybe a month and a half later. You know what I'm saying? So that was the biggest obstacle, just trying to figure out how many people was really going to be ordering. And then I figured out, okay, maybe I need to make the products to order. That makes sense. So every order wasn't exactly the same, but every order was personal because it was made for that person.
We love personable. I love, like, it's nothing like
Yes,
shopping. That's why I love small businesses and just different things so much, because it wasn't really until I started shopping with these businesses, until I started, supporting these people and signing up for like brand ambassadors and partnerships and giveaways and different things like that, that I just saw, these people really put their heart and soul into things. Like you're getting thank you notes, you're getting percent off coupons, you're getting welcome back, you're getting business cards. Whereas like if you order from Amazon or another website, just gonna wrap
you're
it up,
not getting
gonna
that.
box it up. They're gonna send it to you. You're gonna get the little paper description about what it was. If you told them it was a gift, they might get a little note in there. But it's like what to expect. You open it, you just look for the product. But with this, you open it, you gotta be careful. If you open it,
It's a
with the first
surprise.
you right, you might mess up with something they included in there for free. Like I ordered from a few people, and I had to hit them on the side, like, "Yo, you put this in there too? Like, why'd you, with it? Like, whoa, huh? Why you do that?
Right.
Like, what I, they say, that's just a part of what I do. That's just a part of me. That's how I rock it. I say, that's just different. But it also, it's that I'm a firm believer, a big advocate for you never get a second chance to make a first impression. When you get that new customer,
Exactly.
when you get that new business, when you get that new, that new line, you have to treat that everybody is different. Like you said, you have to give everybody that same exact attention. You can't get lazy with it. You can't slack off. You can't just, even when you're doing good, that should make you want to go harder, make you want to keep going, make you want to figure
Exactly.
out, what can I do to diversify this? What can I do to make my repeat customers still feel like they want, still feel special, still feel like VIP and things like that. So the fact that I've noticed that about so many small business owners, that, they just find little niches or just little looking cranny things that they can do to just help people out, to get them to stay locked in, to get them entertained. And it's just like, it makes me kind of side eye these bigger businesses, because it's just like, they've already achieved this, and who knows their journey, who knows their story, who knows what they were doing to build it up, to make things happen. But it's just like you got to a certain level and you got content. Whereas the
Exactly.
small business owner, man, one of my biggest things that I preach to them is just like, yo, it doesn't matter how successful you are, how big you get. We all gonna be household names. A lot of people have spoken into existence, manifested on the podcast, and I firmly believe it. I've watched it, happen overnight. But don't let that stop you. Remember where you were 2 years ago. Remember what you were
Right.
doing 3 years ago. Remember how personal you were getting. Remember the word of mouth. Remember just going up to people, having conversation. Keep that going, because at the end of the day, you always just still want to attract. Even when you're a household name, commercials, whatever, people know you're in stores, whatever. There's still a crowd out there that you haven't hit. There's still a place that you're not. There's still, so you should always keep that in mind. Like even when, think about Walmart. I think about you think about Macy's, you think about Amazon, you think about these really big household companies that obviously people are just going to. That's the go-to. That's where you at. That's what you're doing. They still are doing marketing. They're still doing different things. They're still running promotions. They're still, it may not be to the extent in which a small business owner would do it, but at the end of the day, they still have to do something to maintain relevancy. And I think from a
Exactly.
small business ownership, I think y'all have so much more power, and y'all have that one up, just because y'all will do certain little things, or y'all really know what it takes, or y'all appreciate, how it feels to not have no sales. You know how it feels to struggle a little bit. You know how it feels to have to come out of your pocket to fund something for your business. But you also know how it feels to be on the back end, and you like, oh, I got some sales today. I made it happen. I dropped the product. I promoted it good. Now they out there. So take both of those feelings, appreciate both though, and allow them to continue to allow you to build and make things happen. Okay, so with the lock now, when it comes to, I'm not a lock. What is it? Is it a loctician? Is that the word? Like, is that
Loctician.
a loctician? Okay, so I'm not a
Yes.
loctician at all. So excuse my if this sounds a little foolish. So with what you do with hair and everything like that, is it just
Mhm.
locks? Do you do braids too? Do you know how to like? Because I feel like with women, like I know women know how to do this, but they can't do that. But they know how to do this, but they can't do that. But they do locks, but they
Right.
do the goddess locks or the faux locks or the it's so many different things out here. Like I keep it here. I don't know nothing about what y'all got going on. So yeah, walk us through a little bit of your services of what you really offer when it comes to the hair itself.
Okay, so my hair services are pretty wide range. I had to cut my list down a little bit in 2020 because I was trying to perfect. So now I offer locks, natural locks, butterfly locks, soft locks, and then I do braids and all natural styles like two strands, things of that nature. I do all of that. The only thing that I don't do is like chemical based services just because I'm not certified to do those things. Don't want to get audited by the state for that. But I definitely do like blowouts, anything with the natural hair, I can do that. Anything that doesn't involve chemicals, I might hook you up with some color on the side, but on the low low.
So we gonna keep it low key, man. You ain't about to be knocking on her door, man, trying to mess
Yes,
up
keep it
operation.
low.
Okay. So with what you do now, with what you offer, did you have to get any licensing, any certifications, anything like that? Was this kind of just a learn type thing? Was it a practice makes perfect? What was this process like to really learn to kind of I'm gonna call you an expert to really become an expert at what you're doing currently?
Okay, well, actually, when I started, I didn't pursue the loctician courses because I didn't know if it was something that I was going to keep up. If it was just was like a hobby on the side. But then when I decided that it was going to be something that I really wanted to do, I decided to enroll in classes. So I'm actually at my loctician classes right now. And with everything else, like the natural classes, you could take a natural hair class, but when you take the loctician courses that enrolled in, it includes all of that. So braiding, natural hair, and locks.
Okay, okay, I like that. Now, so okay, I really appreciate what you do because honestly, okay, I'm gonna be 100% with you. When I first went to the lock page, like your hair natural with P page, I said, oh, she does hair like that's dope, that's fire. It was what it was. I didn't know anything about the products until I went to your website. I clicked the website, I started scrolling, I said, whoa, hold on. Hold on. You just opened up a whole nother portal right there for me. I didn't know you did that. But for me, I was like, that's genius. Like you do the hair, but you also offer products with it. So it's just like, even for people who, let's just say for me, I don't have locks. I can't necessarily get my hair done from you. But I
But
care
you
about
can
my
still
face. I care about
benefit
my
from the
I
product.
can still benefit from the product. So how
Exactly.
what was really the obviously I know you had some strategy behind that about making them go
Yeah.
hand in hand, but how with locks, how with the products, how do you really make these two benefit each other and kind of still, they're their own entities, obviously, but how do you find them collectively coming together to benefit one another in your business?
Well, I actually consider myself like a lock therapist. That's what I call myself on the low. So, I talk to people and I figure out like things that they need and things that'll benefit their hair, but also their mind. Like a lot of my products are like stimulants of the mind, body, and soul. Like I have rose body oils. It helps with the pH balance, but it also helps with the mental aspects. It also helps with the face, like it brightens your skin. Then you can use it on your hair. Like I like to use different products that have different elements. They help in different ways. But when I started, I realized that a lot of people, regardless if they have locks or not, a lot of people that are natural, they use oil every day. So I started to get oils that'll stimulate the hair follicles or, just things like that. Just trying to find things that tie into what I know people need the most with their hair, but they also need with making them confident. Like my main thing is making people feel as confident in their natural state because a lot of people aren't. They're just not. So a couple years ago, especially in the COVID, a lot of people were just at home, ducked off, losing themselves. I'm like, let's regain our confidence without having to buy extra things, without using chemicals. And then talking to people while I do their hair, it's like you really figure out what they need. You do.
That's a fact. That's definitely a fact. Like I said, I peaked the strategy, man. I love what you did. I
Yeah.
think it was important though, because I think with coming into business, with being a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever it is, you always want to be as versatile as possible. Now, obviously, there are just certain niches, certain skill sets that it's thunder and it's going crazy over here. But it's certain niches, it's certain skill sets that you just have that if you're doing a makeup brand, then that's just makeup. It's whoever is interested in makeup.
Right.
It's not going to appeal to a lot of males. But I will say it does appeal to certain males, especially if you think about it from the perspective of something I always try to throw in is that, just because I bought an accessory brand on here, a makeup brand, a hair brand on here, it doesn't mean you can't shop. You have women in your life, right? You have other people in your life,
Right.
right? You can still, pass that along, word of mouth, different things like that. Or get it for yourself. Do whatever you want to do, But I think with most brands, you want to stay as open as possible, as inclusive as possible. You want to be able to, because that way, when you're doing the word of mouth, when you're doing the marketing, when you're doing the promotion, you know that you can hit everybody. Like, even if because for some things, like, 400 people could see it, but if it only appeals to 100, it's kind of hurting you. But if 400 people see it and it can appeal to at least 200-300 of that, oh well, that's it's up to them. Then put the ball in people's court. I'm a big believer in that. As a business owner, as anybody, as offering just a skill, service, anything, always put the ball in somebody else's court.
Yes.
Yes, they can come to you with questions. Yes, they can come to you with certain things, but you give them everything you got. Everything. You be as open as possible. You be as inclusive as possible. Be as versatile. You don't want them to come back and say, "Well, I would have did it, but y'all, you don't have, or you don't do that, or
Right.
But in a sense, that too can be good because it can open your mind to, okay, well, maybe I need to offer, something a little bit better, or maybe I didn't think of it this way. Let me put a different spin on it, and that way it can have everybody honing. So I like really what you're doing because it's just like, okay, I do the locks. I can do all of that. I'm the lock therapist, as we call it. I like that. But at the same time, if you don't have locks, if you got the waves on swim, but you care about your face, you care about your body, you care about, what you're putting on, mental
Right.
aspect, about everything. Like, I still got something for you. So come here, come shop. Don't walk away just yet. It's not all about the locks. So that's important. That's crucial. That's key. You got to hear. You're smart for that. So, all right. So you've done a lot of hair. You sold a lot of products. You've done a lot of word of mouth, different things like that. What's the future outlook for you? What are you thinking about? We're more than halfway through the year at this point. We're thinking about next year. It's a lot going on right now. I don't know what we're in. I know they just declared a state of emergency recently. It's a lot.
Right.
But when you think about your business, when you think about everything that's going on, everything that you've done to date, everything that I know you got some things in the tuck. You brainstorming some things. What's the future outlook for you? What are you thinking about for Natural with P?
For the future, I definitely see more pop-up shops in my future. Well, in our future. We went to a lot last year and it was a great turnout. It's just, like I said, perfecting. So we're just working on next year and looking forward to more. The summer is a good time for pop-up shops. Also, not thinking about working on breaking my page up for locks and then one for business. So natural P will be for business and then lock therapy will be for the locks. Just trying to get everything, the kinks and screws, weighed out for every piece of the business. And then of course I'm thinking about getting into a shop. After I get this certification, I'll actually be able to work somewhere in a shop or in a barber shop or in a salon or anything. Or I could also rent out a space like a suite and then operate myself. So that's definitely the main thing I want to do before the end of this year. Towards the end of the year, probably like December, I want to get into a suite where I could sell my products and I could also do hair. And then just, be in my own space. It's nothing like having your own space to do what you like to do.
I'm telling you, that's why I love kind of being here and just being able to record, pick different rooms and spaces and things like that. But it's not like you said, eventually I do want to have my own, whether I'm renting something or whether I just, build it from the ground up, lock in somewhere in home studio, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But I think you're on the right track. I think you just manifested something. I think to everybody out there listening to myself, I think we need to check up on her in December. I think we need to, still hold her accountable, still make
Stay
sure that,
tuned.
on the right track, help her out, in order for her to achieve these goals, to make things happen, she still needs support, whether that's monetary, whether that's, a little lock therapy, whether that's word of mouth, promotion, shares, a lot of it, it can come in various forms. But, we can't, a lot of times we hear these manifestations, we hear people's goals, we hear different things, and we love it. We rooting for them. We say, you're going to get that, you're going to make it happen. But what are we doing to help put them in position? We are we all we got, but we also all we need, so at the
Facts.
same time, utilize, you don't know by sharing her page what that could do for somebody. You could follow 100 people. who have locks, and you would never know. It's probably a lot of people who I follow who could use your services and are interested in natural products or are looking for different things. Don't forget about people like Princess, who are out here, grinding it out day in and day out. So we definitely checking back in. Maybe that could even be a Christmas gift to yourself. You're either gonna get in the shop or you're gonna have your own thing coming. So it's
Most
definitely on the way.
definitely.
But okay, so as somebody who, like I said, I quit my, I'm not even gonna call it a lock journey because I don't know where I was headed, but I quit my journey of growing up my hair. But give me three common misconceptions when it comes to locks. It can be anything from care to the actual locks itself to the process to what you do. Just give me three things that you've learned over the years that just like people may have the wrong impression about when it actually comes to locks and hair itself.
For me, the main three things that just popped into my head. The first one is people misconstrue the fact of not having to do anything to your hair or just not have to do much to your hair. You still have to do something. Of course, people think, dirt helps your hair grow, but it does, and it also hurts it. Like if you keep your locks without touching them for a while, and then maybe like a year, you go get a retwist. At that year mark, you're gonna have so much buildup and breakage just from not doing anything to it. Now you might have to start back over, or it's gonna take some time to get it back to where it should be, or it could have been if you've been doing some proper maintenance on it. Another thing that I think is misconstrued with locks is texture. People think that, oh, I want the parts to be this, so it's going to look like this person's locks with the same parts. But that's not how that works. It's all about your texture, your hair, and then the definition and the maintenance on it. If you keep up with it, you make sure you keep the curls at the end because you want the curly locks, and that's what you'll get. But it might not be looking like somebody that has 4C hair and you have 3A hair. It's different levels to locks, and then how they lock is over time. Nobody has the same exact journey. Nobody will ever have the same exact journey. And then the last thing is just, I'll say, breaking your locks apart. A lot of people feel like you could do a ponytail after you get a retwist and it'll just still be okay. It will for maybe like a week. Some people keep their ponytail in for 3 weeks. And now when it's time to bring it down, you can't even bring your hair down because it's so matted. It's like matted in a pineapple. But that's what happens when you have lingering hair or natural hair that's just stuck. Like locks get stuck if you don't pull them apart.
All right, y'all. I know a few of y'all that got locks. A few of y'all came on the podcast. A few of y'all I just know. So hey, tap in for this. It's not coming from tomorrow. It's not coming from the Down to Business podcast. That is coming from the lock therapist, y'all. Okay,
B.
so make sure the THE. Two of them things on there, So just I think that that's important just to hear too, because like you said, everybody has their own process, own type of hair, own style, own Google searches that they do, own MO, own things that they, go by. But I think still with anything, there are still fundamentals.
Right.
There are still just certain principles that you need to apply through and through. So thank you for that. Now, getting specific to your lock journey, and you may not have an answer for this right
Mhm.
now. Do you have a timeline with yours? Do you want to continue to do this for the rest of your life? Is this just kind of you want to hit maybe a couple of years in? You want to just see how long they can get? You have a length goal? Or are you really just going with it for as long as you take care of it? Do you have any kind of like inclination as to how long you'll do this?
I don't really have a time that I want to stop, like or cut them off. But I know that I want to keep them for as long as I'm doing locks predominantly. Like that's my main job. I want that to be part of me. I want to be included in my journey and included in my business journey, definitely.
I think that makes the journey too just that much more special. The fact that you in it just like them. So
Right.
the same way you're learning, they're doing different things, they going through all of that too. Okay, love it. So now it's a lot of different hair out there, a lot of different styles, a lot of different. Some people call it nap, some people call it P, some
Right.
people call it waves, curls, whatever you want to do. With having to, I could imagine you've touched a plethora of different hair, of different styles. You've seen a lot of different things. You probably lifted some people's head up, and wow, that's crazy that number. But with having to work with so many different styles, so many different textures, what really has been the smoothest way to transition into that? Is everything really just a learning experience, a first time? Do you take any like steps to ensure that do you treat everything just that much differently, or is it just like do you have any fundamentals or any principles that you use when dealing with just so many different types of hairstyles and hair textures, but still wanting to at the end of the day satisfy the customer?
For the different textures, I try to do self education. Like everything I know is like self taught. So I watch videos, I've read different lock books and natural hair books to just see like how I can get pointed in the right direction. Because like you said, if you don't do it once, you never know. So I try to first do a consultation on people so that I can know what I'm working with before I get into it. I don't want to say I can do your hair and I've never done it before and then I don't do a good job because why do we do that? You know what I'm saying? Like I like to, take my time and make sure everybody is satisfied, me and them. I'm a perfectionist, so I don't want anybody to leave looking like I didn't take my time and I didn't do a good job. So I try to look up videos. I try to tap every different hair texture, style, whatever they want, just to make sure that I can do it so I don't disappoint anybody and I don't disappoint myself.
Right now, perfectionist, man. I love that. I think that I'm right there with you. Because sometimes when I'm editing or when I'm going back or when I'm just thinking about content ideas or just different things like that, I'm like, nah, man, this got to be the one. I
Right.
need this to be the one, two, not the three. I need this to be it. So now I feel you, but also it's at the end of the day, you still learn. You recognize that if you hammer yourself with just worrying about trying to be so perfect or just trying to make everything 100% right, man, you may never drop anything. You may never do anything. You may shoot
Exactly.
yourself in the foot, honestly, just because, sometimes you really do have to recognize that, all right, maybe this one got to be 85. I gave it all I had, but 80, I still got 15% to learn. Or just recognize that, nobody is perfect, no matter how hard we want to be a perfect. That's something I had to tell
Yeah.
myself, look myself in the mirror and seriously say tomorrow, like, you're not perfect, man. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. It's going to be people who, don't resonate with the vision, don't like it, don't reply. It is what it is. But if you in it for why you're in it, for your why, like you said, for you want to be a part of your own journey, then that should never stop what you want to do, what you got going on. All
Exactly.
right. So what's obviously you're in the product
Hmm.
space. You've curated some things, you make some things, you do some research. Is there anything for which you can reveal? Because like I said, I like the pull, man. I want people to give me something.
Right.
You on the podcast, people are tapping in, people are listening. So for what you have already, what you're thinking about, what you already cater to when it comes to people and care, is there anything that you're looking forward to debuting? Any new products, any new spaces that you want to get into, that you want to learn about, that you want to be able to offer to people when it's all said and done?
Yes, actually, the newest products and things that I'm working on is like soaps. I thought about soaps in 2021. At the beginning of 2021, I'm like, I want to start making some hand soaps, black soaps, just different things like that. But now I'm really deep into it, getting the kits and getting the materials together. I already wrote down all the recipes. It's everything is in the works. We're working on rebranding, new labels, new logo, like I said, new names. So everything is just coming together. It just takes a little bit of time, but definitely face toner pads are coming. Organic face toner pads, organic black soap, facial soap, and then shampoo and conditioner.
Come on, y'all. She giving it up. She about to be your dove,
Literally.
your your all of that. I can't even name something. I don't even use all of that stuff. But look, get with her, get natural, get with P, man. I definitely, like I said, I just appreciated just going through everything, seeing how she tied things together, seeing the intentionality behind the business, behind the journey, but now being able to hear about it, being able to get the inside scoop to it and really walk through that process. Man, I love it. I'm very excited for what you have coming. It's still very early on in your journey, in your lock journey, in your business journey. You're only 2 years in. Like that's still, the sky is still the limit for you. If any,
Definitely.
nah, any honestly, the sky's the floor. You're limitless. Like I'm gonna just keep telling people
Period.
that. Like you go what you want to go, you get that suite. You start off in the shop, and then you go own your own shop, and then you get in the stores, and then you own your own. You do wherever this takes you, wherever the mind takes you, the lock take you. Go ride with them. So before we officially, I want obviously people to tap in with you, people to get right with you, you to get people's locks right. Because I know it's some people in Charlotte and nearby that need some
Most
maintenance, that need some
definitely.
therapy in their life. For sure. But so before we do that, before I give them all your social media and contact and stuff like that, do you feel like there's anything we haven't touched on today? Any last words that you want to leave for like up and coming business owners, entrepreneurs, people who may hear this episode, people along their lock journey just the same? Anything you want to just leave us with?
Like you said, just never set yourself short because you're trying to be perfect. You can start and then perfect, but you'll hurt yourself in the long run by waiting to put something out than to just put something out and work on making it better.
Simple, y'all. Look. I told y'all if the name didn't catch y'all attention, something that she said today was gonna catch y'all attention. So if her name being Princess wasn't enough for you, then I'm pretty sure this interview, something in here, whether you have locks, whether you just are in the naturalista space and everything like that, it's important, man. But she definitely gave some gems on here. She definitely gave some things to look forward to. So definitely look, tap in with her. Make sure that if you have any questions, obviously that's all this is about. She was in your same shoes at one point, having questions, doing a lot with the hair, switching things up, knowing what she can and can't do. I think that's so important too, recognizing that, it's just certain things you don't
Right.
want to do, whether it's because you're not trying to get audited, whether it's just because you don't want to hear from anybody, whatever. Sometimes at the end of the day, whether you want to be as versatile, as open as possible, you still got to stay in
Right.
your lane. Like, it's just certain things I'm going to do with the podcast, just yet, just because I'm not there just yet. But it's not to say I won't do it or I will never get into it. But, I may need to learn. I may need to do a little bit more research. I may need to vet somebody. I may need to get some experience under my belt, build a team, everything like that. So for the people out there, obviously, people are going to have questions. People are going to want to tap in with you. I see some new clientele coming your way from the product side and the hair side. Where can we find you? What's the best way to get in contact with you? Social media, anything
The
like
best
that?
way to get in contact with me is on Instagram. My Instagram name is Natural with P, Natural with WITHP. And then the logo will be a yellow profile picture. On Facebook, it's the same Natural with P LLC.
All right, y'all. She gave y'all the spelling. She gave y'all the logo. Don't miss it. You can't. There's no excuse at this point. But no, I definitely appreciate you, Princess, not only for just showing love to me even before we were able to actually connect and following the podcast journey and everything like that. I appreciate you for wanting to be on the podcast. People don't understand that. A lot of people thank me for being on here. Thank me for inviting them on, for talking, for anything like that. I mean, I could have talked to myself for 40 minutes, honestly, if I really wanted to. If we're being very honest, but I cannot say that people may have wanted to hear 40 minutes of me just going off. I don't even think I would want to hear 40 minutes of me going off. So the fact that, people can come on here, people can be a part of the vision, people can drop gems, but also still want to educate and pass along that knowledge, I'm always so appreciative of that. So
Thank
thank you.
you.
Best of luck to you. I will be checking in with you along the way because December is not
It's
far. It's
not.
knocking on the door, but I know for a fact, with steadfast work, with support from my audience, your people, we're gonna make it happen. We gonna get you to where you need to be for sure, for sure. So appreciate you. Let me know if there's anything that we can do from the Down to Business podcast side to help to support you for anything. But to all my followers out there, continue listening. Look, we got a live event September 3rd, man. We coming back to Charlotte, North Carolina, Labor Day weekend. We got another announcement that already by the time you hear this interview, the other announcement already dropped. So I just need y'all to rock with us for Labor Day weekend. Make it happen. We going up all weekend. I'll be out there from Friday to Monday. So let's make it happen. Let's have a good time. I appreciate everybody who makes this happen in some form or fashion. This has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.